Love is like candy on a shelf.
Welcome, friends, to another Town Hall meeting with Mr. Review. And I'm here to make the complex simple and the confusing clear. Say, we've gotten a question out there about cup and saucer. Cup and saucer? What are we talking about? I thought this was a news program. I thought we were learning about politics. My friends, let me ask you this question. What do presidential elections and midterm elections have in common? They both have important congressional elections. Let's not forget that on election night, we're not just electing a president. On our federal choosing days, we're also selecting every member of the House of Representatives and a staggered number, a third typically, of the United States Senate. Remember, the Founding Fathers created a bicameral legislature. This is where you and I, we the people, rule in our Congress. They have to be elected too. Every 2 years we hold federal elections. The Founding Fathers, you remember, chose a bicameral legislature for a variety of reasons, not the least of which each would serve a different function. The House of Representatives was chosen directly, a direct election of the people. Therefore, the House of Representatives tends to be more robust, more emotional, more contentious. We call it the cup. The Senate, more privileged, more erudite, more refined. We call it the saucer. The Senate was intended to cool that robust emotion of the Senate. Thus, the Founding Fathers referred to the United States Congress as the cup and saucer. But let's get back to what matters on election night. We're choosing the House and Senate victors each election. And why does this matter? It matters because we wonder, will we have a divided government? Remember, a divided government is when the president and the Congress are from different majority parties. If the president were to be a Democrat and the majority of the House would be Republican, we call this a divided government. And this has consequences. Oh, political science is a little bit troubled on this issue, but at least we can say two things for sure. In a divided government, one would imagine that the congressional oversight committees would be a little bit more, shall we say, on the trail of that president. If the Congress is of one party, they would like to make the president, who is from another party, look bad. And so election night might determine how aggressive will these congressional oversight committees be. Another side point of a divided government is you would expect or anticipate less legislative work to get done. In this age of polarization and gridlock, one would imagine in a divided government, the opposing party would block the president as much as they can. Political science is a little torn on this. Some would suggest, like David Mayhew, that divided governments actually see more compromise, see more big legislation passed. But this is something we keep an eye on. And this is why the cup and saucer, the House and Senate, are so important to keep in our sights on presidential election night. Another issue that's of prime importance to us as we look at the House and the Senate on election night is incumbency. Some would argue that incumbency is the greatest threat and challenge to our democracy. Incumbency means the likelihood of those already in office to be reelected. Now, incumbency at the presidential level isn't all that high, but incumbency in the House of Representatives in any federal election tends to be as high as 90%. You heard me. 20% of voters may hold Congress in high regard. That's 20%. 80% of us think they're doing a terrible job. Yet 90% of our congressmen win re-election. This is incumbency. One threat to incumbency that we're beginning to see more and more is a nationalized election. A nationalized election is when in those congressional races, they turn it into a referendum for the incumbent sitting president. So rather than debating the issues at a local level, what's going on in our neighborhoods, or should we widen that street, challengers in the congressional election say, are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? Challengers raise issues not about the local congressional district, but raise issues as to how well has the president done. When nationalizing elections, incumbency rates tend to go down. Another point to look at on federal election night as we think about the U.S. Congress is, what are the differences between the House and the Senate? Does it really matter which majority party is in the House? Which majority party is in the Senate? Let Mr. Review tell you just briefly that the House of Representatives is where revenue bills are initiated. If we want some sort of tax reform, it will take a majority of the House of Representatives to do so. This is their unique power and authority. And the Senate? Let's not forget that the U.S. Senate confirms presidential appointments and nominees. Oh, this is extremely important, especially if we have a new president coming to town. There'll be judges to be confirmed. There'll be secretaries to be confirmed. There will be critical military posts to be confirmed. Folks, presidential elections are important. Who all president matters. But might Mr. Review tell you tonight that who is in our House and who is in our Senate may matter even more. Like any evening before Mr. Review goes for a little nighty-night, that cup and saucer is a reminder. A little warm libation before the night is through may make the difference when he wakes up. So too, on election night, our cup and our saucer, our House and our Senate matters a great deal. Great question. This is Mr. Review. I hope I've helped you make the complex more simple and the confusing clear. Until we meet again at another town hall meeting, are there any other questions from Mr. Review?
Love is like candy on a shelf. You want to taste and help yourself.